Hi, my name is Amy Duwell, and I go by she, her, and hers pronouns. I live in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is the Eastern time zone. Um, my practicum last year was with an agency called Lighthouse Youth and Family Services here in Cincinnati, and I worked with adolescents who were involved in the court system, and all of them had high-level felonies. At the time, they were all aggravated robbery cases with guns. They were all sent to the program as a last chance before being removed from the community and sent to residential placement. So they were all on pretty intensive probation. I've worked with the criminal justice population for over 16 years, but I've always worked with them as either a probation officer or like a case manager. I've done some substance abuse therapy as well, but I've not worked with them on the mental health side of things, and I've not worked with the youth that had significant charges like this, at least not in like a therapy role. And I really did enjoy working with them. It was just an interesting population to get to know. They were all very young. They were 13 to 15 years old. So this program was really brand new. This was not a program that had been developed before last fall, actually. And so what I really enjoyed most was learning to do better quality assessments and developing treatment plans that were individual and specific to those clients. I also just really liked the clients. I really found that they were pretty easy to engage. This was the first time many of them had ever had any form of treatment. They connected pretty well with me, actually. Each of them brought such different issues, even though their charges were all very similar. I really liked being able to differentiate between the charges being similar but their unique issues being very different. So it was helpful and challenged me to adjust to their different personalities and try different types of treatment modalities that would work with some versus not working as well with others. Mostly they were just a really challenging group, though. They largely struggled with emotional regulation, mostly due to being so young and not having any treatment history. Also, not even most of them, every single one of them was not med compliant despite being prescribed medications. So it was really a challenge, especially in group settings, to find different ways to help them regulate, to be able to get through a group setting, especially after a long day at school. And I really liked working with the parents. These were parents that weren't completely burnt out of treatment and with the system, so helping educate them on their child and the diagnosis that they had, and help them to problem solve ways to support them better at home, learn new ways to implement things at home in terms of accountability, etc. So this year for my practicum, I'm going to be at the same agency, but I will be working with a different population. I will be working with sex offenders as well as youth who will be returning to the community from either residential placement and or a prison system. I'm really hoping to learn techniques to assist with keeping these youth engaged that are returning from the residential or prison system. Again, they'll be teenagers, because they are typically, from what I understand, youth that are really struggling with burnout, and trying to work to keep them motivated and to keep them from reoffending, because obviously it's a difficult population. You're removing them from a problem, but you're returning them back to the same environment. So just learning about new ways to keep them engaged and motivated will be a really good challenge. And then also I have extremely minimal experience with sex offenders. So for liability reasons, I can't work with them individually one-on-one, but I will be co-facilitating a group, and we'll be able to attend some trainings and things like that. So I'm pretty excited about that because I know that the person right now that covers that program is fantastic, and so I will learn a lot with them, and I'm hoping to actually use a lot of my work in classes on that population because it's one I just don't know much about. So in terms of this class, some specific skills, I have attended quite a bit of training over the years throughout my career working with this population, well, at least with the criminal justice population in different ways for so long. So interventions aren't necessarily new to me, but I'm looking forward to learning better, more effective ways to implement them. And I'm also not as knowledgeable about theory, so that will definitely be a learning opportunity for me. I tend to learn best by videos and application. Seeing and then doing is how I learn and retain information best. And as far as one personal interesting fact about myself, I don't know if this is going to be interesting or not to anybody, but it was the only thing I could come up with, was that I have worked with juveniles with a variety of settings, from residential settings to juvenile probation. This is my second master's, my first one being in criminal justice, so I have quite a bit of experience and really, really, truly just have a passion for this population, and just really love having the opportunity to be able to work with these youth from a different perspective in terms of seeing the mental health side of things. So I look forward to working with you all this semester.